You'll never need a prong collar, a slip lead, a choke chain, or an e-collar with your dog, no matter how bad things get. I've been training and living with so-called red zone dogs, so dogs who show reactivity, aggression, fear against people, dogs, cars, other animals, a variety of things for 8 years now. And in my country, all of those tools are banned for a reason. All of those tools are designed to hurt the dog. They are designed to inflict pain so that the behavior stops for the moment. That's what these tools are designed to do. Now, what these tools don't do, and that's the huge problem, is they do not address the underlying cause of the behavior. So, why is the dog lunging, barking, growling, biting, whatever? That's not being dealt with. And that's why the behavior either comes back worse or comes back somewhere else. That's why I would never use one of those tools on my dogs. And that's apart from the fact that I would never use anything that hurts my dog because it's not necessary. You do not need them. Now, I have the huge advantage that these tools are banned in my country because that broadens the horizon for the use of different methods, different tools, different methodologies. But I know so many great trainers in other countries where these tools aren't banned. So it's not an issue of some countries have worse dogs than other countries. We do have aggression cases just as bad as other countries. We do have reactivity just as bad as in other countries. The difference is not all of us, decide not to use pain to deal with these issues. And again, you don't need to. So let's look at one specific example where these tools are used most commonly, and that's leash reactivity. Leash reactivity is one of the most common issues we have with our dogs. It's lunging, barking, growling at other dogs, people, cars, whatever. And again, if your dog is doing that, this is really, really common, right? So you're not alone, and your dog is not some kind of freak, and your dog is not doing that to be the alpha or to rule the world or whatever. Your dog is doing that because either he's frustrated to get to the other dog or he's scared or both. So that's the underlying cause, and that can be way more nuanced than just that, right? That's what we do in a behavior consultation. We go in deep, we look for the causes, we look why this is happening, and then we actually deal with the root of the problem and not just what we see on the surface. But for now, let's just leave it at that. Now, if we use a quick fix tool like a prong, and you just correct your dog with the prong, so you inflict pain whenever your dog's lunging, barking, growling, you make the situation from your dog's point of view worse. So let's say your dog's scared of other dogs, and that's why he's lunging, barking, growling, to keep the other dogs away from him, right? And now, because you don't want that behavior, you inflict pain through a prong collar. How the hell should your dog learn that other dogs are not scary if they now cause pain? That's not possible. So the only thing your dog can learn from this is to shut up. Now, this might look like a perfect solution, right? Your dog is now shutting up, so problem fixed, right? Not quite. Because your dog's still uncomfortable, your dog's still scared. So yes, your dog will shut up as long as he can and either hold his breath, and some dogs can do that very, very long and suffer internally, and sometimes that just flares up as some kind of unexplainable physical problem somewhere. Other dogs explode when they're closer or redirect to the human, or the aggression shows up somewhere else. because the discomfort does not leave the dog, right? They are still scared. Now, what we do with force-free training, so without the use of any of these tools and not even corrections, we teach the dog that these situations are actually not scary at all. So the dog can actually learn to deal with the situation in a more constructive way than just lunging, barking, growling, so yelling at the other dog to piss off, right? And that can look very different for many dogs. Often the easiest way is to just teach your dog natural behaviors like sniffing, walking in curves, things like that. So those are behaviors dogs would do naturally, but sometimes they have either not been able to do that for such a long time because the leashes are just too short, or the streets we walk in are just too narrow, or things like that. So we do need a little bit of management. We do need to put in the time to actually find out what the dog's needs are, why the dog's doing that, and what actually helps the dog. But this pays off because it's the more sustainable solution. So overall, it takes less time, because if you use a tool like a prong and you suppress the behavior on one end and it comes back somewhere else, you have to address the issues that arise one after another, and you spend more time in total. So if you fix the problem once and for all, holistically and force-free, that often goes way faster than if you just use a quick fix for one thing and then another and then another and then another, and you never address the underlying issue, right? It's just like if you have a leaky faucet and you just put gum over it, right? It starts leaking again and you have to put another gum over it, and then it starts leaking again, you have to put another gum over it, instead of just fixing the leakage once and for all. And how you can do that with just 10 minutes of training each day, you can see in this video.